The Queen's Fool by Philippa Gregory, read by Emilia Fox. Summer 1548. The girl, giggling and overexcited, was running in the sunlit garden, running away from her stepfather, but not so fast that he could not catch her. Her stepmother, seated in an arbour with Rosamond roses in bud all around her, caught sight of the 14-year-old girl and the handsome man chasing around the broad tree trunks on the smooth turf, and smiled. He snatched at the hem of the girl's swinging gown and caught her up to him. "A forfeit," he said, his dark face close to her flushed cheeks. Like quicksilver, she slid from his grasp and ran to the far side of an ornamental fountain with a circular bowl. Elizabeth's excited face was reflected in the surface as she leaned forward to taunt him. "Can't catch me!" She leaned low so that he could see her small breasts at the top of the square-cut green gown. She felt his eyes on her, and the colour in her cheeks deepened. "I can catch you any time I want to," he said. "Come on then," she said. She gave a little scream and dashed away again down an alley of yew trees, where the Chelsea garden ran down to the river. The Queen, smiling, looked down again at her sewing, and did not see her handsome husband catch Elizabeth, whirl her around, put her back to the red papery bark of a yew tree, and clamp his hand over her half-open mouth. Elizabeth's eyes blazed with excitement. When he realized that she would not scream, he took his hand away and bent his dark head. Elizabeth felt the smooth sweep of his moustache against her lips, smelled the heady scent of his hair, his skin. She closed her eyes and tipped back her head to offer her lips, her neck, her breasts to his mouth. When she felt his sharp teeth graze her skin, she was no longer a giggling child. She was a young woman in the heat of first desire. Gently, he loosened his grip on her waist, and his hand stole up the firmly boned stomacher to the neck of her gown, where he could slide a finger down inside her linen to touch her breasts. Her nipple was hard and aroused. When he rubbed it, she gave a little mew of pleasure. Elizabeth pressed herself against the length of his body. She saw Tom Seymour's smile of pleasure at her culpability as his mouth came down on hers again. He caught at the hem of her brocade skirt and pulled it up and up until he could get at her, sliding his practiced hand up her thighs. Instinctively, she clamped her legs together against his touch until he brushed, with calculated gentleness, the back of his hand on her hidden sex. At the teasing touch of his knuckles, she melted. She would have fallen if he had not had a firm arm around her waist, and he knew at that moment that he could have the king's own daughter against a tree in the Queen's garden. A light step on the path made him quickly turn, dropping Elizabeth's gown and putting her behind him out of sight. He was afraid it was the Queen, his wife, whose love for him was insulted every day that he seduced her ward under her very nose. The Queen, who had been entrusted with the care of her stepdaughter, the Princess, Queen Katherine, who had sat at Henry VIII's deathbed, but dreamed of this man. But it was not the Queen who stood before him on the path. It was a little girl of about 9 years old, with big, solemn, dark eyes and a white Spanish cap tied under her chin. She carried 2 books strapped with bookseller's tape in her hand, and she regarded him with a cool interest. "How now, sweetheart?" he exclaimed. "I might have thought you a fairy appearing so suddenly." She replied, very slowly, with a strong Spanish accent. "Forgive me, sir. My father told me to bring these books to Sir Thomas Seymour, and they said you were in the garden." She proffered the package of books, and Tom Seymour
Sample complete. Ready to continue?